In an October 15, 2018 article for ENP Newswire entitled University of Oxford, Balanced Plant-Based Diets Improve Our Health and the Health of the Planet, Dr. Marco Springman of the Oxford Martin Program on the Future of Food is quoted as saying, "The food people eat impacts their health and the health of the environment. Unhealthy diets, overconsumption, and hunger are leading to nutritional deficiencies and diet-related chronic diseases around the world. The food system is also a major cause for climate change, freshwater depletion, deforestation, and pollution of ecosystems." Most of us would be able to point out the major protein source in the standard American diet, which is meat. It tends to be the highlight of every meal and is difficult to avoid if you don't cook at home and rely on food from restaurants often. Despite all we may have heard about the health issues that come along with consuming meat, it is not the only one. Global concern for the environment has recently brought many issues to the foreground of discussion due to the fact that we have to consider the planet's condition for future generations. And one of those issues is meat consumption. Every year for the last 10 years, I've gone vegetarian for a month. And even outside of this month-long commitment, I tend to incorporate meat-free meals into my routine year-round. I do this because both of my parents have heart issues that I would like to avoid, and because I'm slowly transitioning to a more environmentally friendly lifestyle. Eating meat is a problem. It can negatively impact your health and the environment, but it's a problem that can easily be solved by simply reducing your overall meat consumption. As I mentioned, eating meat can impact your health, and it can do so in many different ways. This is something that has been studied for decades, and current research continues to suggest that these findings are something to consider when choosing your food. The most immediate impact meat can have on your body is food poisoning. As stated in PETA's meat consumption article written June 25, 2010, the U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that 70% of food poisoning is caused by contaminated animal flesh. This means that including meat in your diet significantly increases the chance of getting food poisoning. Eating meat can also lead to many chronic diseases. This can be seen in a March 2015 article in the International Archives of Integrated Medicine by Navneet Kumar Kaushik and colleagues. They mention that eating meat increases the risk for heart disease. This is a conclusion that is also highlighted by Adam Bernstein of the Cleveland Clinic and Bonnie Liebman's June 2013 article in Nutrition Action Health Letter. Bernstein suggests that those who eat meat had a 29% higher risk of heart disease. Kaushik's article also suggests that eating meat increases the risk for diabetes, and this is also touched on in Liebman's article. She gives the example of Harvard researchers tracking more than 200,000 men and women for up to 28 years. The risk of type 2 diabetes increased by 32% for every 2 ounces of processed meat, and by 12% for every 3 ounces of unprocessed meat eaten per day. And both Kaushik and Liebman state that eating meat increases the risk for specific types of cancer, such as prostate and colon cancer, and the risk for cancer overall. Eating meat can increase the risk for so many diseases that it can also shorten your lifespan. In the article published in the Journal of the American Medical Association Internal Medicine over a study on vegetarians and mortality, Dr. Michael Orlick and his colleagues found that diets with reduced meat consumption may be associated with a lower risk of death and should be considered carefully by individuals as they make their dietary choices. Not only can eating meat impact all of these short and long-term aspects of your health, it can also impact the environment. Eating meat impacts the environment in a number of ways. NPR's June 27, 2012 article entitled "A Nation of Meat Eaters, See How It All Adds Up" provides information on a large amount of resources it takes to produce a quarter-pound hamburger. The article suggests that it takes 6.7 pounds of grain. It also takes 52.8 gallons of water, which is used by the animals for drinking and irrigating the feed crops. Producing that meat also takes up plenty of space in the form of 74.5 square feet of land for grazing and growing the feed crops. It also takes plenty of energy, 1,036 BTUs for food production and transport. Meat production also results in the production of greenhouse gases. And Janet Rayloff's article in Science News for Students entitled Your Food Choices Affect Earth's Climate from July 2014, she notes that the diet of someone whose meals included an average of 1.8 to 3.5 ounces of meat each day would be responsible for the daily release of 12.4 pounds of CO2 equivalents. As you can see, eating meat is a problem, but the solution is to simply eat less of it. Eating less meat is a solution we can all participate in. This doesn't mean that you have to change your entire diet overnight, as habits tend to be easier to develop over time. There are still plenty of ways to reduce your meat consumption. Participating in Meatless Mondays is a solution to eating less meat. Meatless Mondays allow you to eat meat on every other day except for Monday. Meatless Mondays are a great first step because it can be easily incorporated into your week. Going flexitarian is also an option. Flexitarians follow a mostly vegetarian diet. The way it is described in the April 17, 2018 article called Flexitarian, Part Vegetarian, Part Not in Consumer Health News gives you a clearer idea of what it can be. It's called flexitarian, for flexible vegetarian. You primarily eat a vegetarian diet, but you eat meat on certain days of the week or when the urge strikes. The eating plan's flexibility extends to how many days you can go meatless. Your part-time vegetarian status comes with no rules. You decide how much you want to have. Going vegetarian is a great solution to eating less meat. This is because vegetarians don't consume any meat at all. So going vegetarian will have the largest impact. Eating meat is a problem because it impacts your health and the environment. The solution is to eat less of it by going vegetarian, flexitarian, or even just participating in Meatless Mondays. Now that you know that there are various options that address the problem of eating meat, you can begin to take steps to solve it by choosing to eat less of it. Making the decision to do so could help you and the planet stay healthier longer.